corner where the Archons dwell, where the Archons dwell. Got stories and wisdom more than I can tell, more than I can tell. Lost in the power of the cards they deal, down at the corner where the Archons dwell.
Touch it.
Well, hey,
touch it all over.
Look how poorly they put that
call?
sticker on.
Yeah.
Why does your onboard mic sound better than your regular mic?
Come on, sheep.
Because he doesn't have the heater in the background.
What is going on, everybody? I am the one, the only, the WOOKIE. Joined here by the normal cast of misfits, contrary to popular belief. I know it looks like there's only three on.
Spell your name.
What are you doing? I know there's only 3 on the stage, but yes, Drazcor and Sheep are together on assignment.
Yay!
As you can tell,
They're crossing swords.
yes, they have crossed the streams. Say hello, Sheep.
Hello, sheep.
Say hello,
Hello, Sheep.
Say hello, Drazcor.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And then, of course, we have the Ewokiest of Ewoks, Ewok Jr.
Hello, KeyForge community. Glad to be here.
Gonna be a short episode today because we all have shit to do. It is the board gaming festival down in Illinois.
Heck yeah.
And you guys are on a limited power source there.
They have an hour and
fun.
a half, they said.
Oh,
Yeah,
searching.
that's what they said. They'll be done in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's the time. What? Hold on. Now I'm sitting next to Sheep, and there's definitely some side boob images going on here on his phone. What? Like?
This is what I'm normally doing while we.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this is just like Sheep shared his screen while we're
Yep.
recording.
You get to see behind the scene here.
All right. Nice.
It's not good to see Oz. It really isn't.
I do love the fact that
Cuties? I don't know.
Sheep only goes
Uglies.
so far, right? Like there's a
Yeah.
certain cutoff point where Sheep stops. Maybe appreciate that portion. But today we're here to talk about everyone's favorite format, Alliance.
Oh boy.
Last week, I had really
All 7 of you are excited.
Yep.
Hold on for your enjoyment.
And Sydney's upstairs, so maybe
Yeah.
there's only 6.
Yeah, maybe.
Real quick,
Yes.
boys, how are you doing with ABR?
Suck.
Well, man,
Lost.
we
Moving on.
whole season and playoffs, we've not been doing so great.
We have lived up to Drazcor's name,
Choke show. Got it.
like you wouldn't believe.
Ugh.
I suppose
on
next
here.
you're gonna see. You're
Pete is
gonna.
kicking butt.
I tried to get our team renamed to something with Pete because
Yeah.
he's the only one worth having.
Yeah, Pete's been kicking it.
And then you want to talk
Yeah,
about Neko next? How many people showed up at Neko?
Oh, Neko was a good ass time. So Neko, we had there was around 30 folks in the tournament, plus or minus. I can't remember exactly what it was. But it was really well run. Everything was smooth. Everything started basically on time.
Is that because you didn't use?
So actually, they used playstyle.
Yeah.
Which I was like, wait, we're like taking our lives in our own hands here. And so I went to, I was like, hey, DeadSync, like, what will happen when playstyle crashes? Like, what will you do? And the answer is, we will pair by hand. I was like, oh gosh.
Oh boy.
But somehow it did not crash. Apparently they only needed to repair the round once because some folks weren't paired. And I was like, why did it run so well when we've had so many problems in the past? And the guesstimate from folks that were around when I was asking this question was because we played Swiss instead of 2LO. And
I think it's just nobody misclicked.
maybe they did click wrong. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot
Click
less
better.
porn on your computer, maybe.
I mean, I realize now it's on Sheep's phone, not the computer, just sitting next to him here. So.
Brazzers wasn't
Well, that's because I
running
don't
on.
have 3 monitors.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
There's some tool porn going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is
I'm not
okay?
just impressed. That's a good set of wrenches right there. Yeah. Yeah, you really turned some shit with that.
All right. So, all right. Has your need to talk about all of the things that been sufficiently filled?
I just wanted to say
Well, so for
congrats.
Neko, so a little more. So it was a little recap. So, folks, we got in a bunch of folks were coming in Friday evening, and so had a nice dinner with a few folks, and then we went to a local board game cafe, had a good time there. A bunch of people showed up, went back to the hotel, and then I drove home because I'm only like 45 minutes or so from the location, which was nice for me. But Saturday we show up. A number of us went to the Shady Maple Smorgasbord, which, if any of you know what this is, it's like in Amish country, and it's this ridiculous buffet, all you can eat buffet, where you can just eat an amount of food where you can hate yourself. I'd never been. It's like massively large, like huge buses of tourists show up and stuff. But it was delicious, and the company was good. We had a whole bunch of folks there, right? Alandis, who's listening, he was there. We had whole bunch of folks, and so we ate there and we went, and the main event was great. And I see also Barry's in the chat here. Barry was at the main event, and it was sealed Amber Skies. It was true sealed, right? So you get 3 decks, pick one.
The best way to do it.
Yep, pick one and rock and roll. And so there was a 5 rounds before the top cut. I was lucky enough to make top 8, which was exciting. And I did lose to the second place to end the second place person, and she had like a crazy Mars combo. She made like 16 Ember in one turn. She was doing real well with that. Quick Draw actually ended up winning the whole thing. He had a Shards deck with I believe it was the Skyborn, the Equidon, and the Geistoid.
All the new shards.
All the good shards. I think that's right. And actually, I have in our chat what the decks actually were, so we could actually look at that. And Sheep's not shaking his head no. But I believe one of them...
I have them if you need it.
Yeah, so one of the decks, one of the shards was pipped. So I think it was the Geistoid one. So you could basically just go nuts with the good shards across multiple houses. And it was pretty outrageous. So
these were pretty high sass decks.
Yeah, it was the Geistoid shard.
Yeah,
so
Shard of Resurgence is
also
what
had the
Skyborn.
Skyborn pip. So action, archive a card from your discard pile for each friendly shard. So all the good shards just going crazy. He had the Veil Raise combo. He had 2 in here somewheres.
That crap
he
Raise.
had the red line rotation, which you could just infinitely
This is
archive.
a legit deck.
Yeah. So it was a 93 sass. He said his second pick was also really good.
I mean, this is Quick Draw. I might as well just give this deck away. It's way too good.
Yeah, it's way too good.
This isn't DT.
Yeah, nobody would bid chains on this deck, right?
Yeah, no.
Or well, they would
Yeah.
because they would bid not for the other deck, right?
Yeah,
So this is some pretty good stuff. The giant brained alien of Betkov is the deck. Pretty fiery stuff in here. I never got to face it. I had to face Jen twice, so I lost twice to Jen and her huge Mars combo. But it was a really good time. It was really well run. We did the Drazgor experience Friday, Saturday night. We went out to a brewery. Then we went to this Horse Inn, which was it was this weird place where it was kind of like a dive bar, but also kind of fancy at the same time. And everything was very horse-like. There was a horse trough there. It was a weird place, but it was cool. So we had a good time. So
yeah. So looking at the the deck list is interesting. 96 SAS, then to 81, then everyone else is pretty much high 70s. 79 was your
96. We got
We probably have preview on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, my deck. Good.
go ahead, because you had it. Like I'm looking at your triple fancy Donovan there.
So yeah, I triple fancy Donovan. The coolest thing about my deck, ZZ Rhino Knife of the Albino Spire, was the Mars Time Traveler. The Time Traveler with the Martian Pip was really cool.
With a Dr. X to cycle it sometimes.
Yeah, although I basically never got the Dr. X to work. I never had the Dr. X and the intentional discharge at the same time. But weirdly, it was just like kind of a combo I just sort of like fell into was, so I had the De-Animator with a Brobnar Pip, and then I had the Demos Burst in Mars. So it was kind of weird where like I would kaboom, blow up the board, and then I would throw down a bunch of either out of Brobnar or Logos. I would end up throwing down a bunch of stuff, and I would be like, "Wow, there's nothing of theirs to mineralize." So I would like mineralize like my daughters or something, and then I could Demos burst them and just blow up for a whole bunch of embers. So that was like my weird burst that I've never really done that before, but it just sort of came out where that was a thing that happened pretty often. So so the real strength of my deck was in the Logos house with the Mars Time Traveler, the De-Animator, double Daughters, a command prompt, double Articulated Wren. So Logos was really where my power was.
Yeah.
My Mars was okay. My Brobnar was triple fancy.
Make them daughters fight.
Yeah, so yeah, it was all right. But it was a 77 SAS, so enough where I was able to get myself the top 8, but wasn't able to stand up to like truly crazy stuff that was out there. So I was happy with how I did, and a number of my locals did real well on our local Team Redacted. So one of the guys who is like been starting to come more and more to the store, he actually made top 4, which was really cool. So I'm hoping that he's talking about maybe coming to some vaults this year. So it's cool to see him. Chicks Bro Corp was his handle. It'd be cool to see him come out to some events. So
I see you guys got 2 drivable ones.
Yeah, we can easily get to Baltimore. It's like 2 hours for us. Rochester's like maybe like a 5-hour drive, but that's
that's what we do to get to Roseville.
Very doable. So,
right. But we're here to talk about stuff that isn't so fun. Actually, as Draz and I were upstairs, discussing like coming down to record this, we're like, do we actually have anything intelligent to say about Alliance? Because none of us,
yes, we do,
seriously play Alliance.
Do we have anything intelligent to say about any of the topics that we bring up?
Occasional nuggets.
No.
Okay.
No, nothing good to say about any of this, really.
I mean, like what Ewok was trying to play at Nationals last year could get better.
Yeah, no, I think Coda got significantly better. I do think there's some things to talk about, but shall we talk what was on the list from last year, what's on it this year, or do you just do what's on it this year and rock and roll and talk?
Let's go down it one by one, boys. Befuddled is still there. So those of you looking to play Befuddled, fuck off.
The thing doing it one by one just is not super successful way to do this, because
I think
they only matter when they're in comparison with the other cards in their set, which is now Hellafast and Legionary Trainer.
Legionary Trainer was always there. Yes,
Legionary Trainer was always Legionary Trainer.
But he's saying
Hellafast.
Yes.
But those are your Winds of Exchange cards.
Your woe cards.
Yes.
So, like those are the ones that are actually going to go together. And so the stuff people were trying to build, which was basically Legionary Trainer Befuddled decks, are dead. Now,
stop your opponent, draw 1 million cards.
The interesting one there is that FOF Transponder came off, so there are a handful of infinite token loop decks that are back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I guess with FOF transponder and Halifast on the list last year, right? You playing infinite Brobnar tokens was harder, right? Well, infinite obviously was harder, but like, the best Brobnar token builds with Berserker or even Warrior were restricted. But without FOF transponder, like, yes, you still have to worry about Halifest, right? Am I going to have the Halifest or am I going to have the Befuddle? I mean, Legionary Trainer. I mean, if you're playing Berserker, you don't care as much about Legionary Trainer, right? Warrior, maybe you do, but I think it gives, by removing FOF, there's a couple more options, I guess, in WoW. But I don't know. Do you guys think we're going to see WoW in that much WoW in Alliance because of FOF removal?
Well,
No.
I mean, again, this is where we're all dumb.
Yeah.
What is Control is gonna come back a little bit, and then what else is gonna be? What's gonna the strong alliances that we hear about coming out of?
I think
Amber Skies.
Yeah, I think that Amber. Yeah, I think that Amber Skies was not hit very, very hard here. You'll see a number of builds. I also think that Talk with the Tokens of Change.
Very hard. Ember Skies wasn't touched.
Correct.
There are
So
no
nothing
Ember
from the new
Skies.
stats,
There are
right?
no Ember Skies. There is nothing of Ember Skies on this list at all. No
Yep.
Ember Skies was not touched. Not even a little bit.
Well, did they?
Nope.
They nerfed. No, which one did they nerf something pretty early before it ever really got a chance?
They changed the multi-dimensional rescue.
Yeah, but that's going to
and
fall under
Mom.
GR.
No, I'm saying, like, have they ever really impacted a set before it got its cycle through?
Normally they've let.
Normally they let it play.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, WoW didn't really get a chance because, like, I played it in like Canadian Nationals,
Mm.
and then it was cracked. It was cracked the January. Like, I guess it had like 6 months,
Well, it had
but it didn't really have Vault Tours.
the 23 season totally had WoW, right?
Well, it had
Because WoW came out right before Philly, right? And so we had that whole. It was like immediately before. So Philadelphia, people hadn't opened that many decks yet, right?
Yeah.
There was a couple of folks, if you recall, that
But it wasn't
played
getting
basically
like,
some sealed decks. Basically,
just-
they had. Yeah.
get a lot of play.
I thought we saw lots of play that year, right? there was a
Guess I
couple
don't
of.
remember.
Yeah, like what was the one that we played a bunch? Well, I played a bunch. It was what the heck? Ben the Monkey's deck.
No, I'm talking about a lot.
We're talking about Alliance.
Oh, Alliance. Yeah, I guess Alliance. I remember that year, folks were talking, like folks who were evangelizing Alliance were pushing and promoting how much more balanced, quote unquote, Alliance was because there was so much more representation from so many different sets, and
That was 2024, not 22, because 2023 would have been the time of.
They were
WoW.
saying that in 23 as well, right?
Oh.
And they were like, "Look,
I don't
everybody's
remember that.
playing WoW," and right, because we were, and they were like, "Hey, there's a lot more diversity of sets in Alliance." I remember people saying that.
So, I mean, in the chat, you can see Dexter going out and saying, Hobo, I made a few WoW Alliance. You also saw a chance to be able to bounce the tokens from Strange Shell. That was definitely there. That was a viable build for Alliance.
Yeah,
but,
Sith's deck. Yep.
Correct.
So, there's one of those.
Yep.
But that's what I'm saying is that you saw a couple different Alliance. We saw, what was it, in Brobnar, where you would cycle the Mayborn Flingwing. That was a build that showed up.
Still a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. But in my opinion, I just don't think that they're fast enough. I don't think that tokens here is fast enough. I do think that Tokens of Change offers some different tokens that puts a lot more pressure. And I do think that that is viable for Alliance. But
I don't know, because like the corner of the market, a proper corner of the market or a proper, and we haven't got there here, but control the weak loop. Doesn't
Yes.
matter what you're doing because you're just not going to do anything.
Yes, but you're basically competing against, can I go ahead and throw out Thrall in order to discard your hand before then, and with the tokens and how fast they can come out. I think that you will see it's going to be a push as to who's there fastest, and that's what we're really looking at. So let's go in. I mean, you said whoa, but yep. Well, and that's, I think what you're going to be seeing is some very, very fast games. Do you want to, I mean, we jumped to whoa, convenient AC style. Should we start and Coda and kind of go down, or are you just, where are we going to bounce?
Well, Coda, the only thing that has changed, right?
There was a lot of change.
Everything has changed in Coda.
Well,
Yeah, Coda's the big one.
Well, Time Traveler and Help from Future Self and Control the Weak.
Yeah, so Control the Weak,
Well,
Library
not
Access.
a bunch has changed. Oh, Library Access. Sorry, I forgot Library Access.
Oh, that's a big one. And as common with that opens up so many more builds. So Control the Weak, Time Traveler, and Library Access were on last year. And this year, Control the Weak's gone, and Library Access.
So explain to me why Control the Weak is gone, Befuddled remains.
Yeah, I don't. We were talking about this, like, we just don't. How do they make their decisions? Because you can't, like,
It's a dartboard. They just hang shit on a dartboard and just throw it at it.
Well, taking stuff off the list, like, what's the justification? Like, well, nobody played it. Well, yeah, because you had it on the list.
Yes. If I had to guess, I'd say they're looking at what are the sets being brought. They probably went too hard on Coda to see
hands down
Coda. Right. So they said, all right, well, we've got to remove some of the Coda to give Coda a chance, right? So, they said, hey, we're going to let it go through, and then they're going to see. They're going to see from here if they feel like they got to put some stuff back on or not.
Maybe this is also like their thought on, like, we got to let some of these pods back in, otherwise
no one will play our shitty format. Oh,
well,
sorry.
and people are going to get really upset that every time they get a good pod, it gets banned forever. That's sad.
Yeah.
Although we already saw several players leave because of the bans, and I don't know if they'll even come back when those come off.
If they come off.
If they come off.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I will argue that my Coda builds went ahead and finished top 8 for Roseville. It was a smaller amount, but I think that it gets a huge boost by bringing Time Traveler and Library Access. Like, the thing that was actually missing for that deck was the speed. And now all of a sudden, that's exactly what has opened up. Plus, it gives a much better Logos build, because Library Access or Time Traveler, they were just limiting a lot of the builds that could happen because they showed up in such a common frequency. So I think those are great additions to see from the player perspective. I cannot tell you why Befuddle is on here and Control the Weak isn't, but there it is. So we're really looking at...
There's a lot of excitement right now over Library Access coming off.
Yep.
Because there are a couple of Library Accesses in DT to go with the United Actions.
Yeah.
Now,
I have a phenomenal... No, I'm not even joking. I have a phenomenal build for Library Access in DT that I had been playing. And with that removal, it is very, very viable.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you, if you want to be playing solo KeyForge, that is it. Because once it goes off, it just keeps cycling and cycling and cycling. There's nothing you can do. And
is there another set with Star Alliance and Logos in it besides DT?
Worlds Collide.
Well, yeah, Worlds Collide.
Nah, it's got to be newer than that.
Newer than that?
No. Yeah.
Mass Mutation, right?
No, not new enough.
How new do you want?
What are you trying to go for?
That's about as new as we got.
And well, so like in this, like, are there Legacy LAs in MM and Legacy United Actions in MM?
Oh, you're now looking for both.
When did United Actions
enough MM got opened?
I thought United Action was DT originally, or am I forgetting?
Yeah,
United Action.
UA is DT.
So it came out after MM.
Yeah, but in War Mutation, could you get a Legacy United
Yeah,
Action?
I
maybe.
thought United Action was Worlds Collide.
The Google can tell us this. My memory says it's DT.
So the short bit that we can see here is in DOK for More Mutation. There's not a single LA that has been opened to this point. That is
There's not enough of that set to matter.
Yeah.
correct. So you're looking for United Action was the other one in what?
Yeah, United Action was in Worlds Collide.
Wow. All right.
343.
That was me forgetting. Yeah.
So you could. So I imagine there's builds out of Worlds Collide then
Yeah.
that are United Action. Says too.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So that's something. But
I'm pretty sure I have a Worlds Collide library access. No, I have a.
I think the
AOA.
I think the LA
Right.
might be the tougher one to find in Worlds Collide.
oh yeah.
Yeah, but
Well,
there's
yeah,
enough of
but
them.
that's what it is. There are a few Mavericks that LA can do infinite loop stuff
Yeah.
with.
There is. So I do have a deck, and it's a legit Archon deck, and it's not good enough to actually be good. It's kind of goofball, but it's an AOA deck with a Legacy library access, and it has a helper bot, and it has Hysteria. So you can just loop playing all your creatures and drawing all your cards in.
Because in Worlds Collide, you can also have that one artifact that belongs to every. It becomes a creature. It's an artifact, but it becomes a creature. I think it's like a 5
But
power
they made
creature.
that's that
And belongs to
garbage
all
thing
houses.
from Saurian.
But it also lets your United Action pop off.
So
Because
there are
allowed him to be versatile or something.
Yeah. So in
Maybe.
Worlds Collide, there are presently 194 library access decks.
Okay. Well, there you
So
go. So
I mean, even
library
there,
access United Action out of there is a thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe it's because World Collide had the crappy key cheats.
Well, but that it's really important with DT. Honors Keysis is in that logo stack for me too. So I already have a key cheat there. Plus, I have the LA. No, DT has again. We had looked at the card pool. Typically, it doesn't come together in what you're seeing for individual decks. But when you can go ahead and handcraft and put things together, it has tools.
all right. Should we move into AOA? Oh, actually, we actually forgot some cards because Restring
What did we
Guntus
forget?
came off the list for Coda, and so did Scrambler Storm. So Rusty Locks
wait,
are
but
now back on the
wasn't-
table, and so
Well,
Yes, they were there.
Rustigantus came off.
Yeah, Rusty
So
Guntus
Rustigantus
came
was
out
in
last year.
right. It was in
Yeah.
2003. It came off last year. So I remember
Or maybe it was
last
just
year
Scrambler
people
Storm.
were like, "Oh, we're gonna see Morpheus
Scrambler came out
and
last
Rusty," but then we really.
Oh, that's
didn't.
right. Those three came off. What was it? Rusty, Scrambler, and Science Officer Morpheus came off last year.
Yeah.
Right.
So the Science Officer Morpheus Rusty, but that never developed
Yeah.
anywhere. There are a few of the decks exist, but we didn't see them
Yeah.
get played much.
It's a
Again,
legacy, so it's hard to. Yeah.
Morpheus, and again, talk Dave Cordero right there. I faced his deck with it, and
Yeah,
it just
there was
came
a
that
few, they
I
just
happened to
didn't-
be.
They just
Yeah.
didn't get there.
Well, it made top
But yeah,
8.
in AOA, it's the big deal in AOA is that Martian Generosity came off the list,
Yeah.
but Key Abduction went on the list.
Right.
Yep.
So multiple Key Abduction decks are no longer good, but double
'cause
Martian
it's-
Generosity Key Abduction can infloop out still.
Right.
So
So it's still one per deck, or sorry, it is one per deck for key abduction.
yeah.
Yes.
So you can't have multiple key abductions.
As I'm saying, the double Key Abduction decks went, but the double, and actually, if you go back and look at the ones that people really like, they were double Generosity. They were not double Key Abduction.
Right.
The double Generosities were the better decks.
Because you wanted
So-
to draw a ton to get to the key
So, like,
abduction.
'cause that's what Sydney was doing. She was double Gen until they limited it to one. So that stuff's back. Maybe they did that just for Sydney.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. We're just not in the favor.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
not.
an aviator. They both cheer. Right?
Yeah. But on that note, what did go on the list? Heart of the Forest.
Yeah.
Boo! Boo!
So that's a big deal not being able to do the Heart of the Forest key abduction. Now you have to do Heart of the Forest key cheat out of Untamed
Yep.
to finish it. Which is certainly doable still. But yes, they put the rumor, and it seems, is they put Heart of the Forest on because GG and judges didn't like watching Heart of the Forest games because they go on forever and they suck.
Yeah.
Too fucking bad. Too bad. Whiny
really
babies.
I mean, the short answer is Heart of the Forest slows your game down. That if it's a race in a very fast, but picture this. You now can go ahead and set up that you're not playing by a standard set of rules, which is great. That's what we want to see. But if everyone is going super fast and it's turn 2 or turn 3 and the games are over, Heart of the Forest means I can set up for my combo because you're going to need to get your hard R in order to deal with it.
And turn 18, you can execute your combo. Yeah.
Let me see this.
This was fun.
But if it provides an extra, here's 3-4 turns in Alliance, that was enough to be able to
Heart of the
provide that
Forest,
win,
any
so.
number, but I can have any number in my deck I want.
Yep, you can still play your 4 Heart of the Forest deck.
I'm just still puzzled. Ghost form. I don't know. There's some other ones in there, but anyway.
So then we're going into Worlds.
Yes.
Worlds Collide next, right? Which is Ghost form stays on.
But why? Tell me why.
Because there is the ability to make a Ghost form Bryolock deck, I think.
I'll say Ghost form's busted.
Well, but we're just talking about Ghost form. But
because because we can have how many decks can potentially exist, we're going to go ahead and keep Ghost form hasn't been seen for anything. It just is weird.
It's been on the list.
Hey, so I do think
it's been on the list since the start of the list. That's why you didn't see any Ghost forms.
Right. But I think for Bryo, it's on there. But for Worlds Collide, it's Chronos, Ghost form, Infernus. They left Infernus on, and Stealth mode, and United Action. So Infernus still getting lots of hate. I guess people don't like the card. We've seen less Infernus in Archons, certainly.
I think that
if we had Infernus in Alliance, would you see a lot of it? I don't know.
Is there any
No, I think that it's an add-on.
Has there ever been a competitive Worlds Collide Alliance deck?
I tried. It's not fast enough.
Well, I know it's not fast.
It doesn't have the speed.
Disc doesn't have control.
Yeah, I know
for Worlds Collide,
it was the Resty decks came out of Worlds Collide.
Yes, because you're going ahead and
they're still there, so that is what it is. All right, so nothing's really interesting.
Stealth mode was what we were looking at.
Well,
it's still there, so nothing's really changed with Worlds Collide for this season.
Nope.
I think wasn't JDG trying a bunch of Quicklestone silliness, right? Some of those were pretty good, but if your opponent didn't care about creatures, it didn't matter.
I did see people trying to build a multi-NARP, multi-exile deck.
It made me laugh.
NARP exile was that?
Yeah.
Was that one of our?
That's Red Train.
Was that one of our dear listeners?
Yeah,
it was like a Red Train or a Pete or one of those guys. Yeah. So
that was good.
Yeah.
All right. So I think Kronos came off.
No, Kronos.
Nope.
Kronos still there.
Kronos.
No, what came off was Dab.
Yep. Dav.
So now, the big one that comes off there, and
I think that's the one that can be absolutely
fast enough with the new ones.
Oh, so here's the thing: if we can go ahead and run triple Dav, think about the speed that's there. You should be able to get one opening, and then you are just cycling through those cards. I don't know, but that becomes really scary.
Yeah, I guess.
Plus 12, draw
that's cool.
3.
Let it let it go. See
Yeah,
what
no,
happens. I mean, like
I'm
some of the
with
stuff,
you on
because Dav has never even been attempted because they immediately just went, nah.
There was a double Dav deck, right? That won, right? Wasn't that what Vargas won with in Roseville?
No, he's double eating straw.
No, that was Double
It was
Eaton's
double
jar.
Jar. Okay.
Yeah, Dav's been on the
sorry.
list
Okay.
since the dawn
Which is
of
still
time,
good.
too. This is the first time Dav's been off the list.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
no,
I think it's fun that opens up as an option is some kind of Dav, probably with the Amber bursting tard out of Untamed.
Oh, the Volt's Blessing.
Yeah,
that one.
Volt's Blessing Dav
Yeah.
deck. That'll just make a
But you
From
can't
ton of
have
armor?
Chronos, right? You can't have Infernus.
Kronos
yeah.
is the bigger deal. I mean, Infernus isn't a mutant. I don't even think
Sure.
you're going to have Dis in that deck on average.
Maybe not.
Because you're going to have. Well, you're going to have. I would think you're going to have Shadows for.
Kronos is a
At
mutant.
like a good Dav. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Kronos
yeah.
is the
Oh, I thought
last,
you said
but
he
I think
wasn't
you'd
a
end up
mutant.
with Shadows. Yeah. Infernus is not a mutant.
Oh, yeah, no. He's a demon.
Yeah, so you're gonna have like Rad Penny loop because like they're easy to kill, easy to replay, and have a good steal effect.
Yeah.
And easy to
Does
kill if they have
Untamed have
plus
Chi
6
in-
power.
In MM,
Was Keyfrog, right?
yeah. So you're gonna have Key Frogs.
Keyfrog's going to be
So that's
impossible to
last play,
kill.
put that back,
but that's your
and then
Well,
no, you got ways to kill it.
Sure.
You got ways to kill
Yeah,
an
if I do
8-powered Keyfrog?
Yeah, he's gonna be real big. No, there's gonna be the unnatural selection,
Yeah.
or whatever it is. The pick 3, kill everything else.
Yep.
There are ways to make it happen.
Is Keyfrog a mutant?
Yeah, Keyfrog's a mutant, for sure.
Okay.
Hold on. I'll
anyways.
search it out for you even, but I'm almost positive
I don't know
Keyfrog
what
is a mutant.
because you would like to use Logos with Cronoses as your third house, I bet, but
Yeah.
you're not
I mean,
going to get that. So
You can do Infomorphs. They're still good. They're not as good, but
Yeah.
draw pips.
Oh, Keyfrog is not a mutant. He's just a beast.
no.
There you go.
He has
So you
47
get your Fantasy
eyes.
Reverends rocking and
you're
rolling.
probably playing
Yeah.
Subject Kirby's.
Oh, Kirby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kirby's
You're
for
playing
sure.
Subject Kirby's as your third one.
There you go. There
Right,
you
so
go.
you just play more. And
Yeah.
then more, and
Yeah.
then more.
Yeah.
So that may be a viable thing to try. Nothing I'm building. Like I have a deck with, and actually you can certainly have more than 3 Davs because I own a double Dav deck where 2 Davs are in the same house. Now there's only like 2 mutants in that deck. It's not good, but it is cool.
Yes.
So that's Worlds Collide, right? Like Dav being back. Maybe we see Dark Amber Vault being Dav. We see something come out of there. It's MM. And then there's Dark Tidings. Nothing has changed there outside of the Library
UA,
Access
yeah.
Mavericks.
Well, but
UA's still on the list.
UA is still there, but that's all that's really on it.
It's
from DT?
the infinite loop of UA Library Access being
Correct.
legal, and we know LAs exist in that set. So
Yeah.
I guess like Frog Legs deck still there, right? That
still
crazy,
100%
right?
legit. Nothing's changed there.
So they didn't attack that deck. Maybe with the Legacy Library Access, there'll be more competition. I don't know. They're so rare to see something in DT that can
The
do
lists
something like that.
don't make sense. None of them make sense. You had a deck pretty much dominate. Let's see. I believe. Well, no, it didn't win nationals, right?
It only won the one Vault Tour, didn't it?
But didn't it win
did win
Worlds as well?
Baltimore.
Oh, it won Baltimore, and then
Wait,
didn't Aviator win with it too?
I thought it won Vegas.
Or did
Was it Vegas?
I thought it was
I
Vegas.
forget.
I might be wrong. I'm trying to remember when we first started seeing it.
So I was streaming the Baltimore Alliance final, and I'm pretty sure was
Z won. No, did Z win Vegas? No, Z didn't go to Vegas this year.
that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's 2 years ago. Yeah, this was the one where we were opposite the gun show. There was the gun show in the hotel at the same time we were there.
Gun
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
Well, I don't know. So DT, same stuff can exist. Maybe the library access opens something, but nothing anybody in this cast knows enough about to know if we're changing anything there.
Somebody will try to find a build there. Somebody will try to find the legacy library access with the United Action to just get bonkers.
Yeah, we got Morgan up there. She's been trying to build them.
Yep.
We already talked about Winds of Exchange, so we can skip that monster.
Yep.
And then
which leaves us to what happened to Grim Reminder.
Well, pretty much the only thing that happened to Grim Reminders was Winds of Death.
No, Jervy's there
Jervy's there too. Jervy.
And
I don't know if
Jervy, Key Abduction, Winds of Death. So that means
Key Abduction. I was
Winka
considering
or
Coda.
Winka or whatever, right?
Let's kill Winka, but all the other Cuz are perfectly fine. Not a big deal.
No,
Good night, guys. Good night.
You can only you can only have one key abduction, right? So some of these pods that've got 2 or 3 key abductions.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You can't have key abduction with Winds of Death.
Correct.
Yep, you got to figure out some other.
Unless it's an Archon deck.
Unless it's an Archon
I've heard
deck.
a lot of people complaining about Wind's key abduction because it took away the entry, relatively easy to build alliance deck from people. Like if you wanted to play an alliance and don't own a ridiculous amount of stuff, you could probably put together a Winka deck.
Yeah.
Because they're not that rare, right? They really are not.
Because the fucking Wookiee did it, so anyone can.
Basically.
Yeah.
So let's get rid of it and Heart of the Forest.
So yeah, it is, and they didn't, and the Winka decks didn't
do anything. They didn't fucking do a goddamn thing. Not all season long.
Hey, no.
Thank you for your donation, Wookie.
Got to top 4 with 1, and they were like, "Oh no, if Sheep can take it to top 4, just like I did good with a Legionary Trainer deck, and they're like, oh, if Sheep can play it, it's way too good. Take it away.
That means any dum-dum can play, so we must ban.
Yeah, any dum-dum.
This is correct. If Sheep do well, then we eliminate it.
Well, and
Sheep
did pretty good with a Control the Weak deck, so they're like, oh, that must not be good because Ewok's playing it.
There you go.
So why Jervy but not Witch Queen? Like what's the combo they're worried about here with Jervy? I get
Jervy's your search.
I get Jervy, Witch Queen craziness, but like you can still have Jervy and Witch Queen.
I think somebody probably pointed out to Luke or Michael of some infinite loop with Jervy's scrap.
Mm-hmm.
Except that's archive a card from your discard pile, so that can never even infinite loop.
So it's not going to be this.
Like I don't even know what the infinite loop would be. I don't know.
I mean, I guess there's ways to bring back.
Well, so the after Reap, with the Witch King can rule of 6 if you have a Kangafant, because it goes back to your Reap, dies, goes back to your hand, plays Reap, but you're only still rules. Actually, it rules of 3 effectively because you got to replay it every time.
Yeah. Plus, it doesn't stop it, right? Because Witch Queen, Kangafan are not on the list.
Yeah,
So
and so for anyone following along, we've done great for radio here. But Jervy, 3-power creature, human witch from Untamed, elusive after Reap. Search your deck for a card and put it into your hand.
Ain't nobody new listening to this show.
There was people who didn't know Dav earlier. Scrap, archive a card from your discard pile. And so when they're talking about the scrap, it's just archiving it. The after Reap.
I mean, I don't understand the Jervy thing.
But
sure.
Why? Is there something you can do with key abduction? Can you? So like you play your 1 key abduction, you discard Pip, scrap Jervy, you archive the key abduction.
Yeah, you're already doing a target.
You're doing that target, right? Or I don't know, you have a Jervy in.
A lot of people said they just
it's the witches coming in with it. Witch of the Eye.
It's got to be something else. There were some people saying they just wanted to mess with Mike Fooney's deck.
But it didn't
Okay.
do anything.
That's the Jervy Witch Queen.
But
Yeah, it did good in Archon. A few people.
No, it doesn't. It
that was
doesn't
another one.
negate the deck, though.
because there's yeah.
Well, no, that's a Waka deck.
No, it's not.
It's a Winds deck. It's a Winds Jervy deck, but it doesn't
Oh, it does
feed
have
it because
wins.
Archon decks can be played as Archons. Anyways, no, and then it's funny, you see a lot of people mentioning like, oh my gosh, Missile Officer Myers didn't make this list, because it obviously didn't. Because you got to
doesn't
go over
need
to the
to.
rule book and see that they errataed Missile Officer Myers to change the scrap effect to being a wild or phase shift effect instead of a crazy
Well, no, it's you
discard a
can
card.
you can play one non. It has to be out of house. I think it says non-Star Alliance.
Yeah, it's like a phase shift style effect. You get to
Right.
play a non-house card, but it's not a discard a card, because that's the thing is it turned any play effect into a scrap effect effectively, which because scrap effects don't rule a 6, it allowed infinite combo.
Yeah. I still don't understand why they don't just say you could only trigger a specific scrap effect 6 times.
Yeah. So
They could have just added scrap to the rule, not discard, but specifically
Yeah.
if a card scrap effect triggers, it counts towards the rule of 6 of that card.
Yeah.
It does put you in this interesting position potentially where you can no longer, you can discard it, but the scrap doesn't trigger because you've already ruled of 6.
They'd have to make that clear, right? You still have to be able to discard the card otherwise.
Well, you don't have to. It's stuck in your head.
I guess, but
Sucker.
so the actual reading in the rule book, friends, Missile Officer Myers should read: deploy, play after reap, resolve the play effect of a neighboring creature as if you had just played it. Scrap, you may play one card that is not of the active house during your turn.
Okay, so it would actually let you play a Star Alliance card when you
Oh, it's just a non-active
discard
house.
it on a
Correct.
non-Star Alliance turn.
Yeah,
So
and what
that's-
it used to read, was deploy, play after reap, resolve the play effect of a neighboring creatures if you just played it. Scrap, discard a card from your hand, comma, resolve its play effect as if you had just played it. There is real talk about the play reap effect actually being better now. Resolve the play effect of a neighboring creatures if you had just played it. But that is identical there. So I don't see it. Yeah.
There's that. What's that Saurian card that makes play effects reap effects?
oh yeah,
It's the same.
posts or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it is the same play after reap. It's just scrap. You may play one card that is not of the active house during your turn versus discard a card.
It was definitely the scrap effect. Missile Officer
that was
Myers. With what was the other card in multi-dimensional?
Yeah, rescue.
Yeah, which let you put this back, and then you got infinite copies
because you
of
were
the-
scrapping it, you were able to use it and then get it back because it was already in your discard.
Yeah, so you got the Missile Officer Myers and the other card
and the multi-dimensional rescue.
and the multi-dimensional had the key. The multi-dimensional was the key other half because that also gave you a.
You were allowed to
base
play one
play
card not of the house.
Right, so you could discard both of these for an infinite number of play other cards. So
I think
then all you had to do was have a way to draw.
Yeah. I think you're right,
And it
though.
was
Just
dumb.
adding in the text for the scrap is there. I'm curious if Jervy is there based on going ahead and looking at Witch of the Dawn or Witch of the Eye. Both have ways to go
But you
ahead
can
and-
still play them.
Those are going to archive.
The
so it's not
only
like
thing Jervy would interact with on this list, more or less, without some weird craziness, is Winds of Death. Otherwise, just putting Jervy on the list just doesn't allow multiple Jervys. No, actually
'cause
it
even
does
if
because
there's
it says any
some-
number, right? It's not one.
Mhm.
So putting Jervy on this list was 100%
Yeah.
useless because it can interact with any card on this list besides Winds of Death.
right, and key abduction.
Key abduction.
And Key Abduction. Sorry, because I keep thinking it's a code.
Yeah, everybody here's everybody on this cast doesn't apparently
Right.
understand the Jervy thing.
But
But
even
you
like
know.
even if there's some, so let's say there's probably some, Alliance player out there, right? Aviator is listening to this and he's like, "You idiots, you're not thinking about Jervy comboed with such and such and such
Yeah.
and such, right?" And so, but such and such and such and such are none of the cards on the restricted list. So even though we're not smart enough to know what he's thinking right
unless
now,
it is one of those cards, and we're
maybe
Because the
we're-
only
we're
other
just
ability
extra-
Jervy
I mean,
has
that's very
is the reap ability. To reap, search your deck for
somebody will
cards, put
tell
in your
us
hand.
why Jervy is good.
Yeah.
So yes,
No.
anyone listening, go ahead and join this discussion in past episodes on Archons Corner and tell us why we are dead wrong that Jervy was the right call here, because I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
It was an all-star throughout
You know what? It almost
throughout
makes
last
me
year's
wonder
Alliance season.
if like there is a card that Jervy combos with, and they put both Jervy and the other card on the list, and then they were like, "Our list is getting too big," so they're like, "Let's remove."
We
this
just
other
remove
card."
one?
For some reason, they left Jervy on. Like, I totally would believe that is a thing that happened.
I
Because I do
mean,
get like I do think they're correct in not wanting to have this list be too long, right? They're putting cards on. They should be trying to take stuff off. If it becomes a really long list, it's going to be even harder
This list
for
is
those folks.
already a just not intuitive thing for players to look at because it's
Yeah.
not sorted
No.
by set. It's not sorted
no.
by. It is not an intuitive way for most people to understand what's going on.
Well, it's really for like those ultra experienced players. Like those are the folks. A subset of the ultra experienced players are the folks that tend to like Alliance, right? Which is counter to the
No,
what they're
Alliance,
thinking.
Alliance Draz is for the newbie. Anyone can come and enter this, and this is. Oh, wait a second.
No, I mean I think if you look at the ones that are playing it, it's
Yeah, no,
it's
it is.
the ultra experienced folks with tons and tons of decks who are crawling through DOK looking for that one pod that's actually okay with the legacy such and such, and then pounding that person trying to find them so they can buy that pod, right? Like that is the sort of folks that are playing this, and they enjoy it and they have a lot of fun. But I don't think it's too many new players.
No, I'm with you 100%.
What new players?
All right,
Anyway.
so
That is
Well, with Discovery, I got
some
something. So they did have at NECO. This was not announced in advance. They had Discovery decks for prizes. So
yeah, we played with
disappointing.
some Discovery decks this past Tuesday.
no, it was awesome. So for getting top 8, I got a Discovery deck, an Amber Skies deck, a Talk deck, and an MM deck.
You got better
More
prizes
mutations.
than we get at
guess
the
what?
So I
Better
got
prizes than the
we got at the
vault.
vault tours.
And there's some box wine showing up here. Hey, Sydney. There's box wine getting poured into Sheep's mouth. Oh my gosh! Here we go.
This is great audio, my friends. Great audio.
That tastes like box wine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone following along at
Fruity
home.
red sangria, guys.
Now you all
I
know
will
why
say
we all
that-
still play KeyForge. Copious amounts
Yes.
of alcohol.
So anyone who is interested in Alliance, it is in the rule book, but you're basically looking at for 2025, Befuddle, Kronos, Ghost Form, Hellfast, Heart of the Forest, Infernus, Jervy, Key Abduction, Legionary Trainer, Stealth Mode, United Action, and Winds of Death. And that is your list for this year. Enjoy, have fun, happy building.
Happy forging, everybody.
Yeah.
I know you brought up for Discovery, Sheep, Wookie.
Yeah.
We got a chance to also play Discovery.
Yeah.
I think it's
Fun
their...
creatures.
Yeah.
Very little amber control from hand.
Yes.
Like what I did notice, because at first my brain was like, wait, I don't remember them fully describing what steel is. And then I was like, oh, that's literally what they're doing. They're fully describing on each card. So like,
Oh yeah, they
what-
added a lot of extra
Yeah.
helper text on the new
So,
Discovery cards.
that is good. I was like,
Oh, it's definitely newer
yeah.
player friendly. It is like the only thing that we have seen is You sit down 2 new players with those decks to play each other,
Mhm.
they're going to time.
Oh yeah, the the one of the decks I have is like a bunch of effervescent principles and like a bunch of capture. I'm like, okay,
On
It's
that,
a lot
because
of creatures and
So-
not a lot of C.
double EP, double old Bruno. What's the deck I got? I was like, okay, all right, we're gonna.
Yeah.
Oh, and with the skeleton key, I was like, okay, here we go.
Slow.
No board clear.
Ewok is gonna love this set. Maximum KeyForge time.
Yeah.
I think it's desperately needed for bringing in new players. So there's a lot of people who've reached out that they're
but
they're
you
interested.
You can't give them shit.
No. Here's the thing:
It's not
side by
bad.
side, Wookie, these
Maybe
can
I
be
got
played.
Dodgers.
Yeah,
Nice.
side by side, these decks can be played. It's a good way to introduce people to the game. We cannot be going ahead and throwing them into tokens of change or grim reminders and expecting them to be successful. There's too much that's happening. So this does
we're in
help
this
us
weird
back
we're in
to
this weird state right now, right? Yes, you can't put them into
Illinois. It's
you
pretty
can't-
weird.
Yeah, you can't put them. You can't throw them into the new shit because it's just too much. But you also can't give them absolute garbage trash water and then expect them to stick around.
Yeah, I mean, it could have used some
but
pixies
hold on,
and
it's
things
not-
that we had seen previously. Just bump
Hey,
for Amber push.
Wookie is 100 SAS Vault Tour or it's trash.
Yeah, well,
Like, there
okay.
are only 2 things. It's either it's Vault Tour good or it's trash now.
For
So if
Discovery,
I'm
it
getting
has
you
to be
into a
good
new game,
sealed
Sheep, and I
experience.
was like, hey, here's a deck. Play this deck, and we're going to play. And then you come out maybe a month later, find out, oh, this deck is absolute dog water. What do I do now?
Well, that would happen with almost any deck.
Yeah, that's every
Yeah.
game you start playing. You get some
Yeah.
cards,
Come on.
they're dog water, and then you learn how to find the better stuff.
Right. The question is, and I don't know, I've only played one game of Discovery so far, right? How fun is the set as a new player experience? And does it get them wanting more?
And-
I don't know yet.
And as it really turns out, a lot of players aren't actually that worried about having a Vault Tour caliber deck, and that's their only goal in this game. Like, a lot of people are playing almost sealed exclusively or with their locals and their friends, and they don't actually feel the need to have a 100 SAS monster. We happen to like that style of play and do want those decks, but even in our local, there are several players who aren't really chasing that. Right? They're happy with the level of local play that we do now, and they don't necessarily feel the need to be like Vault Tour, Vault Tour, Vault Tour. That's definitely us. But I embrace that, the way this game and decks work, and it doesn't bother me that most of what I buy is trash.
It was
Okay.
fun.
Yeah, well, and every game I played,
Yeah.
like, you have no idea how much Mech Warrior stuff I bought, both sealed and aftermarket, and you know what I did with it in the end? I gave it away. Magic cards, at least I was able to sell them for a few dollars because that game never died.
Mm.
But almost every game I've ever played in my life, towards somewhere the game is basically petering out and it's all just trash. No matter how much I paid for it.
I think that side by side, if it brings in more people to our game, it's a win. And I'm happy that it's at less complexity level that can bring people in. When you are trying to teach the game to someone who's new, the new sets are just too complex. So I want them to get excited. I want them to have some energy and see that the decks are relatively close. They can enjoy the game. Then we can take them to the next tier, which frankly, some of the newer sets have quite a bit going on with them, but they're powerful and you have a chance to be successful. So I think that tiered approach is perfectly fine. We needed an entry level game for this. So almost another reset of the base level.
I was talking to one guy at work and like telling him there was this new set that just come out for new folks. I told him we should play. He sounded like he was interested, or
He's like,
he was just like, what can I say to make
he's
make
like,
this guy stop talking?
we're
to
going to
me?"
do this on the clock, right? You're
This is my boss.
We're gonna
This is one of my-
play
This is one of my peers, so this is not.
Then you can still do it on the clock.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. We report to the same manager, so
you guys can totally vouch for each other.
Yeah. We're like, oh yeah, we were doing important stuff.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Do we have anything else?
They're going to start reserving the conference room with no windows.
Exactly. One of the ones in the center of the building. Yeah. Should have done this past week. My boss was in India this past week. Oh, darn.
I don't think we have anything else other important to go through. For those of you, I'm trying to get.
I don't think we had anything important to go through. We talked about Alliance.
There you go.
Okay.
Anyways, for those of you who we will see on Saturday, we'll see you on Saturday.
Yes.
Oh, you're getting your drinking out of the way.
Saturday.
So that means you're not going to drink with me on Saturday then.
Oh no, don't worry.
I know you'll be drinking, you alcoholic. We're just gonna adopt you as a we're just gonna adopt you as a Wisconsinite.
We miss everyone who is enjoying this radio cast.
Keep playing KeyForge. Radio broadcast.
Peace out, bitches.
Yeah.
Are you gonna ask them for $1? Gee, what's going on here?
Hold on. I did not actually hear it, so if that was there, I apologize.
What do you mean you didn't hear it?
I didn't hear it.
I swear, you and Sheep are like an old married couple. You tune him out sometimes.
Does he even speak? Well, yeah. That's how I've been around so long with him, is that I tune him out. Yes.
All right. Well, what do you need? What are we doing?
Punches me in the face.
Well, since they are here, we need to bring up some lyrics to finish this amazing cast.
Oh, that's right.
You guys missed this, and I almost missed it too.
What?
Kirkman, right? If I remember.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Go for it, Ewok.
Are you going to be doing this with me here?
Oh shit! I gotta find it.
This is your solo.
Yeah, we gotta find where is it again? It's in.
Oh goodness! It's in Patreon.
What channel is it in? It's in which? Patreon. Okay, hold on.
Yep.
So Kirkman's like, you know what you guys need? The song. So
we have a song every week. It changes weekly. It's changed weekly for 5 years.
Yeah, but this is an AC song.
Yeah,
this is definitely an AC song. Found myself wandering late last night down an alley, purple light. Something pulled me through that door. Cards scattered across the wooden floor, where strange figures gather round, making more than just a sound. Down at the corner where the Archons dwell, got stories and wisdom more than I can tell. Lost in the power of the cards they deal, down at the corner where the Archons dwell. Wookiee at the helm, voice deep and strong, while Dr. Sheep keeps the players moving along. Ewok Jr. speaks of battles past, ancient knowledge meant to last. Drazcor dealing sealed surprises as the cosmic game arises. Down at the corner where the Archons dwell. Got stories and wisdom more than I can tell. Lost in the power of the cards they deal. Down at the corner where the Archons dwell. Southerly elf code begins to sing.
Jesus Christ, how long is this?
Digital realms start taking wing. Tavern brawlers rise and fall, while ancient Archons make their call. Now, I'm deep inside their game. Nothing here remains the same. Each card holds a different key to what these masters help me see. In this corner of time and space where reality shifts its face. Down. Thank you for your donation. At the corners where the Archons dwell. Got stories and wisdom. More than I can tell. Lost in the power of the cards they deal. Down. At the corner where the Archons dwell.
You don't even here. We're gonna add some fire to this lyrics. Here we go.
What's the stupid looking hat that Ewok's wearing right now
I don't know.
at his open mic night?
Just his bald ass skull.
No, he totally just went open mic poetry night there.
Nice. We should do the finger, snaps.
No, stop it.
Dick.
You love that, Wookie?
No. All right, hold on. I've got this. I don't know if you guys are going to hear this. Oh, okay.
What's that?
So I'm going to pop this in. I will make this into a song if we never talk about it ever again.
Are you gonna put it on the cast?
Maybe.
Whatever you're gonna do.
Maybe.
You should. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna use it every week, but I don't know.
That was kick ass.
Well done. And great job, Kirkman.
Hang up now.
Yes,
All right.
hang up. You two go have fun drinking.
Yay.
Yay.
Sounds like you're already having fun.
Play
We
KeyForge,
are having fun.
and may the forge be with you.
We'll
Happy
see.
forging, everyone.
We'll see y'all next week.
Now I'm deep inside
Yep.
their game. Nothing here remains the same. Each card holds a different key to what these masters help me see in this corner of time and space, where reality shifts its face.